Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks, where we meet with the top thought leaders and strategists in emerging technologies, digital assets, the regulatory landscape, and capital markets. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, and joining me for this segment, we have J Wagner, founder of Blockchain Gaming. Jesse's the Rising Star founder and developer, and Jesse Kirshbaum is back with us, founder of NUE Agency. We're here to discuss the future of blockchain gaming and why there's room for disruption with AI and Web3 in the broader landscape of entertainment, media, and music. It is great to have all of you with us. Perfect way to end the week with an engaging conversation around a really fun subject. Andrew, let's kick it off with you. How has the environment evolved with blockchain gaming, and what have been some of the catalysts?
Well, blockchain gaming's been one of the first applications of blockchain to take off, related to all the things you can do with it, because it's kind of a low-hanging fruit. The developers have total control over the virtual worlds they create, so they don't need the permission of a bank or a courthouse or a lawyer to affect blockchain-based ownership in their products. So it's been something that's been one of the first to take off, and I'm super into it. I love games. I think they're fun.
And Jax, how is this evolving when it comes to music?
Yeah, I think what it does is it gives you the opportunity to experiment with a community already there. Whereas in the past, I've developed games and you can develop the game and you put it on an app store and nobody ever downloads it and you've got to spend on marketing or whatever. Whereas with blockchain, you've got musicians that are putting music out onto the blockchain already through various streaming services and via NFTs. And you've got games that can be developed for a captive audience already there and understanding blockchain as it is right now. So as a musician, I initially created a streaming platform. And then I saw that a good opportunity to bring musicians and gamers together and allow musicians to put their music in a game and gamers to be able to use that music, listen to it while they're playing, and actually use NFTs of that music within the game. So there's a ton of opportunities for developers to do things like that.
Right. And Jesse, let's tie this all together for a moment here, because you're calling 2024 the moment of great transformation as it relates to music, entertainment, gaming, everything that touches the cultural aspects of our lives.
Yeah, the climate is right for mass disruption and transformation. Last time we've seen something like this was in 2009 when Venmo launched and Uber launched and Slack launched and Pinterest and Airbnb. These are paradigm shifting businesses that happened. And I saw the formula in 2009 as really the gig economy mixed with the mobilution, the mobile entertainment app revolution, mixed with the post recession mortgage crisis kind of era of building new businesses. And what we're seeing here in 2024 is a different formula, but also leading to mass transformation. And that's the creator economy mixed with the AI and Web3 revolution mixed with the kind of post-COVID era. And that formula is creating just real opportunity and chaos to the world that we once knew.
Which is interesting, Andrew, because in terms of gaming, it definitely is about community-centric ecosystems where you're not reliant just on a handful of intermediaries to create that experience. So it really does come down to the community as it relates to entertainment leveraging blockchain.
Yeah, was that directed at me?
Yes, Andrew. Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, the community is very important. As a hedge fund manager, we have a accelerator program, and we engage in a lot of partnerships and cross promotions and trying to get players engaged with the games. And it's been great. So far, the most popular has been Chris Young's game, Rising Star, at least in our program.
Yeah, well, let's talk more about that, Jux, right? The success of Rising Star has been a result of the community that engages.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we can have people from all around the world who are already using blockchain for various means, whether it be gaming or trading or whatever. The particular blockchain that I chose to develop on is called Hive, and it already has a blogging platform there that's been running for years and years and years. And it allows you to basically earn for creating all types of content. And by plugging into that community, we have people that come across our game because they happen to be on that blockchain, may not even be searching for games. So we have a massive community already there waiting to try new things. And everybody who's on blockchain is obviously there to try new things. So it is a fantastic way. We have people from third world countries, for example, who can't afford to buy starter packs, which a lot of these games have. So we decided to make it a free-to-play game and encourage people from high income countries to purchase things, but allow people from low income countries to play totally for free and earn crypto within 5 minutes.
Right. And Jesse, at the end of the day, when you bring all these communities together and get them exposure to other types of brands, collaboration is really key when it comes to finding disruption in culture and marketing.
Yeah, play to earn is a great mentality that Jesse's talking about. There's so much that we can do here with play to earn in terms of like as a school of thought, and it applies in gaming, and that's kind of the best use case that we're seeing right now. But there's so many ways that blockchain, it can disrupt entertainment and music. We just see that like fan clubs and that community element you're talking about is just so ripe for a better experience where we can be planning to earn and we can be part of this community and culture. Also ticket disruption, and thank goodness that that it's coming, like the opportunity to create these digital collectibles and have these tickets be these kind of real nuanced new wave experience is just so much better than the barcode that's going on right now through Ticketmaster and the current state of tickets. And then the data on Web3 is just so next level, and it's just such an under-tapped, underutilized concept, because you're having a direct conversation with your audience. You can be able to search wallets and really understand who somebody is and connect to them in ways that gaming companies haven't really traditionally been able to do. So this is just a new layer of ways that blockchain is just going to enhance the gaming world.
Right. But Jesse, in addition to that, I want to talk about brand collaborations, right? So that you can bring different types of brands in front of different types of audiences, which I think changes the way that marketers, think about the different synergies and how influencers have such a big impact on ROI. How are you seeing, collaborations open up to different audiences?
This is a whole new era of rampant growth and disruption in culture marketing. And these brand partnerships are just so fascinating and just such a great way to break through where there's so much noise, there's so much content. These collabs are really integral to how to help launch brands or help brands break through the noise. And the key to these are really highly nuanced, specialized agents and agencies. This is just not something that you can just do straightforward. It really requires a way to talk to creators and talk between brands, and that conduit is becoming a niche that is highly specialized and in demand. And it's the probably best route to do these in authentic ways, because if you don't do these partnerships authentically, the audience can smell it and ultimately quickly disregards it. So the way the way to do these things successfully is really in these kind of nuanced, highly specialized ways that can amplify the partnerships.
Right. And Andrew, from a more technical perspective, expansion and interoperability, that's really going to be key to boosting accessibility and scalability as it relates to what's happening on the blockchain.
Oh, definitely. I'm huge into blockchain interoperability and cross compatibility. In fact, I have Chris here from Rising Star. Our initiative with his game is a good example. One of their tokens, Star Pro, we just wrapped and put on the Polygon blockchain on the Ethereum virtual machine. Although it's natively on Hive, where we maintain a one-to-one reserve, this allows exposure to investors on different blockchains. So they can get involved with this token if they're new to Hive, or if their money just happens not to be on Hive at that time. And I think it's super great. I'm hoping we'll get more traction. A lot of coins have done things like this to great success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would think as the infrastructure and Web3 matures, just by the virtue of interoperability, Jux, that really is the key to this, right? Until you have consistent and reliable interoperability, it's, that's really the key to all of this. In addition to what's happening, with collaboration and community, you need the underlying infrastructure to be able to execute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think more than the infrastructure, it's the obfuscation of everything underneath. So you can come in and you don't even really know you're on a blockchain. You're just interacting with your wallet and you say, I want to play this game, and you start earning, and then it says, okay, withdraw my tokens, and you've just got them in a wallet and you don't really even need to know what blockchain you're on. And that is happening. Every time we see a new version of a wallet come out, maybe a MetaMask wallet or whatever, the improvements are there every time, and it's becoming easier and easier for non-technical people to use. So, which is, that's what we need.
Yes, and Jax, I'm so happy you brought that up, because we just came back from Consensus in Austin, Texas this week, and one of the you always kind of pick out the key themes that are evolving from these conferences. And one of them was, which was a pleasant surprise, it's the first time I've really heard it, throughout the conference out of all the years I've been covering this, is it's about user experience, right? You want to be able to get from point A to point B and have it relatable to the experiences that you're used to now as it relates to UX. And it's not so much as the end user about the core architecture, what the developers and the engineers are working on. That's kind of their lane, but to make the user experience something that's seamless. And that seems to be, a theme that's evolving out of the DeFi and Web3 spaces, which to me is encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't want any friction, because people have got very short attention spans. And, if you've got to go and jump through a hoop somewhere, you're already going to start losing people at that first hurdle. So the easier you can make it, and the more familiar it is to people that are not used to blockchain, then obviously the bigger it's going to get.
Yeah. So as we think about in the last few minutes here, Jesse, what's next? Right. I mean, there is a lot to cover when you think about it from the data perspective, AI perspective, Web3 experiences, and so forth. What do you think in the more near term that consumers will at least, have more interaction with?
Yeah, coming down the pipeline, there's a lot to discuss. Here are a few bullets that are on my mind, and that's life after streaming. Clearly, this streaming market is feeling saturated. Netflix won the streaming wars, and there's just only so many more users that can be onboarded into the streaming world. So where does entertainment go? How does the streaming world evolve? That's a big topic. The rise in live events. We're seeing more and more people coming to live events, the call for experiential, the call for IRL, the call for tying live events into digital events, like where you were just at Consensus, Jill. This wellness wave. Everybody's focused on longevity, talking about what's coming, how to expand life, how to, make the most of the time. We're all kind of turning into cyborgs, or just our healthiest, longest versions of ourselves. So how do we really incorporate the wellness wave into all of this? And then sports is just winning across the board. Live sports is so exciting. This is going to be the summer of the Olympics. Everybody's going to be watching Paris. And I think that sports, from even these niche sports leagues to the NBA Finals to French Open, all of them are just performing really well. And I think there's just more and more of a demand for the live sports experience and sports in general. Even if it's like the Premier Lacrosse League, like all of these sports leagues are starting to get more and more traction. This is definitely the year of the election, and I think all eyes are going to be on that. And I think that as we head into the back half of this year, things are really going to heat up, and that's going to be a big conversation when it comes to crypto. I think crypto is going to be very dialed into this year's election, and we're seeing it all across the board. So I think it's going to be a big topic, and I think that in general, everyone's going to be watching this election. Is going to tell a lot about the future. The banning of TikTok. Will it happen? What happens next? That sees a big court case in September, and that's going to be a big conversation. But regardless, the conversation has changed. Short form video is on the rise. So I think big opportunities sit there for YouTube and for Meta. If TikTok is banned, if TikTok sells, if TikTok has a new future, I think all of that is going to be very, very important to this kind of how the word gets out and how all of the message spreads, and the influencer and creator economy. Women's sports is continuing to break records and flourish. And I just think that we're going to only continue to see more growth across the board in different categories of women's sports. Search is being reinvented through AI, through ChatGPT. And really, we're seeing search and music changing too. Like people are writing songs about Nasdaq on Spotify. You could search your name at this point. It's become a hot topic, and we're seeing more and more search being reinvented and even musical search taking shape. Web3 as a backdrop in this data revolution. This is the new D2C market. I mentioned it briefly before, but the data in Web3 is just so fascinating, and it's just going to change how brands can connect to their consumers. AI, and more AI. I think we're going to continue to see great stories and breakthroughs there. And I just think a lot more bullish on AI in the short term, and then maybe there'll be some pushback. And this is a data revolution, and we're going to own our own data through Web3, and it's definitely going to change the internet, and it's definitely going to change the way consumers and fans and players and gamers and everybody and musicians all interact. And that is going to be a big component of how this works. So those are just some of the things on my mind.
Just some of the things. I mean, I'm listening to you list through all this, and even when you talk about, emerging sports, think about what happened with the WNBA this year, women's softball, that's been really hot this week. Cricket, we've been talking about that on sports radio all week as well in the US. So certainly enough content creation to go around. But Andrew, back to you for a moment. Through the lens of blockchain and gaming technologies, when you think about visionary leadership, what are you looking for there?
Over time, I've watched a lot of developers rise and fall in blockchain gaming. I think it takes some stick-to-itiveness, and it takes some gumph to be a really good developer and founder, especially when you have to survive these winters that we had the last couple years. A lot of people don't make it through those long winters, and it takes patience. And that's another reason I think in our portfolio, at least, Rising Stars tokens have done a lot of ROI. Chris has been a steady hand. As you can see, he's very experienced, older gentleman. And it's been great.
So, well, and let's wrap with you for a moment here, Jex, in terms of where you're seeing the music industry going, and just overall, your thoughts around, what can be achieved by leveraging blockchain.
I think anything can be achieved, to be honest, because it gives so many people the opportunity to just give it a try. I mean, if you're a programmer, it may seem very complicated, but actually getting involved with blockchain, you're just adding on a little bit more onto your existing knowledge. And there are so many people out there. I mean, I came in to Hive and I wanted to develop a game. I had no experience of developing on blockchain. And within a few days, I was interacting with the Hive blockchain because there are other developers on there who are quite happy to help. We're not against each other. We're all in the same boat, and we want blockchains to succeed. And so we're all happy to help each other. There's no competition there. We don't have to spend on marketing because we're this one big community. Okay, we don't always get on, but I think the great thing is you can experiment. It's a very different mindset to create a game that also pays out in crypto. A lot of people just try and do gamified DeFi, and that's not really going to cut it. You need to have something that's fun initially. That's the most important thing. But you can also incorporate crypto and ownership with NFTs and crypto tokens. And that involves thinking a little bit differently. And I think we're only just scratching the surface at the moment.
All right, gentlemen, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.